In the 14th live Jon Jon Happy Hour, we turned this pod into a party. Today we're playing trivia, the ASMR game, and a jam-packed shit that I heard this week. It's time for episode XIV of the JJHH. Let's boogie.
Recording live from the Jon Jon & Company studio in Denver, Colorado, the Jon Jon Happy Hour. Now here's your host, the friend you didn't know you needed, Jon Jon Lennon.
Hey everybody, back to the Jon Jon Happy Hour. Oh my god, I'm so thrilled to be here. Happy Sunday, fun day. Wasn't that a nice intro? So nice. As a reminder, you guys can subscribe to the Jon Jon Happy Hour on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on SoundCloud, and you can view the show on YouTube. You can, of course, see the Jon Jon Happy Hour right here with your very own eyes, like the 30-plus people in the Twitch TV channel chat. Oh my god. I am out of breath. I had to do a lot of things there before the show, turning the camera on, doing the intro, then playing the music, and then walking back here. Oh my god. Bitch out of breath. Well, welcome, folks, to the 14th JJHH. Remember, like I said, you guys can keep the conversation going right here in the Twitch channel chat and engage during the entire show. So let's jump right in, folks. It's time for shout-outs. The audience really likes that. That was that was the loudest audience in history. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Outs. All right, so this episode shout-out is dedicated to a group of friends who happen to podcast. So, as you guys know, I often listen to podcasts, and when I want to tell you about them, you guys can join me on my Twitter. That's, of course, at Jon Jon Lennon. And I use the hashtag Jon Jon Pod Club. So that brings us to our first Jon Jon Pod Club shout-out here on the JJHH. So this week's shout-out goes to the podcast Sibling Rivalry. Oh my god, the audience likes that. So, of course, shout-out to Bob the Drag Queen and Money Exchange. That podcast, you guys, is so funny. I really enjoy their banter, and I'm really excited that they're back with a regular show schedule. That is not shade, but they were publishing episodes like every 6 months, so I thought that was kind of sad, but I'm thrilled that the ladies are back. We are living, and it is a great pod. So that, my friends, was this week's quick but short shout-outs. DJ Khaled! Of course, as always, you guys can keep the conversation going with the hashtag JJHH all over social media. And of course, while you're there, please follow me at Jon Jon Lennon. She missed. But I do have a soundboard here to my left, which hopefully will help me get through these segments a little bit smoother. But no promises, bitch. She clumsy. But it's time for... Ooh, Vader was ready. You see, when I got a button, Vader was ready. It's time for... Oh, bitch. That was exceptional audio. Thank you. So the ASMR game, you guys, is very, very simple. I eat things, I make sound eating those things, and you all guess what it is that I am eating, right? So without further ado, let's listen to last week's ASMR clip. Now, those of you who do not like ASMR, this is my warning for you guys to GTFO for just a quick moment while we listen to the ASMR game. Here we go. My God is right. All right, out of the wrapper, folks. And now it's going into my mouth. It's the ASMR game, in case you guys are wondering. Oh my heaven! It just melts in your mouth. That is wonderful. Oh my gosh, I choke. Girl. So this is a soft... I'm going to give you guys a hint. It is chocolate. I was going to say chocolate base, but that would be wrong. So I'm going to eat the rest of this. Here we go. God. All right, folks. That's it. Wow. Wasn't that stunning? No, I'm not sure that was stunning, but that definitely was that was something else. Here in the chat, we have choking. It's not Corona. That's very, very true. I was just, sometimes when I'm shoveling chocolate down my throat, it's very easy for me to get it lodged in my esophagi, because I have two. No, I'm just kidding. I have one esophagus. Wow, good tongue pop, Jon Jon. All right, so I asked on my Twitter. Of course, you can find that at Jon Jon Lana. Oh, beautiful ring today, mama. What do you think that I was eating in episode 12's ASMR game? My hints, of course, were that I was eating chocolate. That was such an exceptional hint, might I say, and that it was German. So, listening to that, what do you think that I was eating? The lowest option, which is good, is Milk-A-Bar at 20%. Woo is right. Now, tied for 30%, folks, is a Yogurette and a Bueno Bar. Yes, we know the audience loves both of those things. So I did give you guys a hint in the 13th edition, which of course came out before this show, and I revealed that it was not a Milk-A-Bar. Let's reveal the answer. It is also not a Bueno Bar. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a Yogurette with 40%. Really, I'm going to let the audience go because, I need that instant gratification of the chat and the audience, so I definitely have to do that. Huge shout out. I see you guys all in the chat. Shout out to you, Christian. Shout out to you, Elise. Shout out to you, Sam. Shout out to you, Omar. Shout out to you, Jeanette. Shout out to everybody out there that I see. I love you guys so much for joining. It's wild that you guys are watching the Jon Jon Happy Hour, but I am so uber grateful. So thank you, my friends. Now, some of you guys might be saying, Jon Jon, what is a Yogurette? I'm so glad you asked, and great question. What it is, essentially, is like, it's like chocolate. You're like, yes, bitch, you said that like 3 times. So it's chocolate, but it has like strawberry yogurt inside of the chocolate that's like kind of hardened, so I don't know if it's like bad, but it's really, really, really delicious. So, and you could tell in the clip that it just melted in my mouth, frankly. Oh my god, that game is so silly. So let's get into this week's. Okay, so I'm going to grab the item and I'm going to move myself off of stage left or right. I don't know which way you're looking at it, people. And then I'm going to be chewing, and then you guys can guess right here in the chat. And hopefully I didn't just reveal it again in the chat with my hand. So I'm going to be sliding over. Slide to the left. Slide to the left. Crisscross. Everybody clap your hands. Wow, no one clapped their hands. Okay, she's losing it. All right, it's the... Here we go. It's a rapper. I decided, you guys, in case there's an echo, I'm trying not to move the microphone since, we have some what is it called? Technical difficulties. Every once in a while when I move the microphone. And in case you guys can't tell, I'm wearing these very slim headphones. Okay, back to... Oh my word. That's out of the wrapper. Going in my mouth. Okay, I'll slide on the camera. My mom told me to do this. She says, baby, let people see you eat. Said no one ever. Oh my fuck, that's good. It's also who? Wow, it's very how do I say, getting me right in the lungs. And very, very good point. In the chat, hold on, let me swallow this. I've said that before. Hey! Shade. All right, so that, my friends, was this week's. Thank you. No, so Christian, you make a good point in the chat that I could get copyright infringement for Vader. In fact, in the last couple episodes, we've been hoping this would happen. So if you guys could please email Lucasfilm along with Disney, letting them know that I am utilizing this Vader sound effect, and hopefully could get some good publicity for. Just kidding, don't do that. I cannot afford litigation. So, yes. So that, my friends, was Yes. So, of course, you guys, too, can be counted in the polls. That is, of course, at my Twitter, at Jon Jon Lannon. And I will post that poll so you guys can guess what it was that I was noshing on today. Hint, it was not a dog treat. It also was not a candy cane. Yeah, we know. We know, bitch. We watched you eat it. Can you imagine I just stuck a whole candy cane in my mouth? Whew, don't tempt me. In the next episode of the Jon Jon Happy Hour. And absolutely, cue the Careless Whisper song right now. Like I said, I will be posting that poll on my Twitter, at Jon Jon Lannon, and so much more left in this edition of the Jon Jon Happy Hour. We will be right back after this commercial break.
I'm El Pity.
And I'm Jon Jon.
And we're That Podcast.
You can find us on the internet at hashtag That Podcast all over social media.
Don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes, or wherever you listen to media.
That Podcast is a podcast about everything and nothing at all.
Bye.
Welcome back to the JJHH number 14. And as I've said before, I want you to feel like we are at a happy hour. So with that said, I want to be playing more of... I want to play more interactive games with you guys. No worries, just a very expensive silver ring from Mexico. But like I said, I want to be playing more of these interactive games with you guys because I think it's a lot more fun, especially for these live streams. And I'm going to be coming up with an announcement a little bit later to talk about how I'm going to be podcasting a little bit more regularly for you guys. But that's coming. Calm down, it's coming. Well, like the newest game I introduced to you this last week, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... It's the Trivia Game. Oh my god, wow. That song, I don't know if you guys know this, was graciously provided by the Jon Jon Tabernacle Choir of Bethlehem. Let's... It's the Trivia Game. What a delight! Oh my god, so that choir is just spectacular. So on Wednesday's episode of the JJHH, which of course you guys can find all over social media, on any podcasting platforms, I welcomed this new game. And of course I asked 5 questions and I posted them on my poll that is at Jon Jon Lannon. Okay, so let's find out the answers to these questions. All right, so these are the trivia cards. Aren't those cute? Wow. All righty. Question number 1. I asked how many of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still exist. In our poll, 38% of you said 5, which is A. 25% of you said both 1 and 6, so B and C. And 12% of you said 2. And that, my friends, the correct... and that... dancers. I really had a huge build-up for that. And that, my friends, is not the correct answer. Oh, my heavenly Father. But the real answer to this question, folks, is at 25%, 1. One ancient world wonder is left. And I think that was the key word, is the ancient world. Or word. All right, question number 2. Name the painter whose work included The Scream. And of course, that's not the movie Scream, but the Scream, you know, that one. That one Macaulay Culkin painting. So name the painter who had The Scream. At 11%, a lot of you guys did vote for this, was B, C, and D, which were Gustav Klimt, Paul Gauguin, I think that's how you say it, Edvard Munch. It's with a V, y'all. Very European. But the correct answer, of course, is Vincent van Gogh at 67%. Ooh, calm down, guys. This is, I know, very crazy. Sorry, I know I'm a very hard mouse clicker. They like that. It's like the longest applause ever. Oh, well. Now, question number 3, folks, is from what country was actress Penelope Cruz? Now, this one, I'll be honest with you, stumped me the first time I heard this one because it was kind of a trick question. So here we go. A was Mexico, which 33% of you guys said. B was Italy at 11%. C was Ecuador at 22%. And D was Spain at 34%. I was very proud of myself because I also put the flag emojis in that poll. So please check that out and give it a like. That's, of course, at Jon Jon Landon. The correct answer, folks, for the actress Penelope Cruz is A, Mexico. Nice. Woo is right. There's 2 more questions from last week's, and then we're going to get into this week's. It's the trivia game. That's right. What a tabernacle choir from Bethlehem. Yes. And Jeanette, you did absolutely see that. It's amazing that they, given in this quarantine, that they were able to all come together for that beautiful, beautiful rendition of It's the Trivia song. All right. Question number 4, folks, is Charles Darwin mainly worked in which branch of science? All right. So it's A, biology, B, chemistry, C, astronomy, or D, physics. Now, this one was a toughie, but a goodie. Now, none of you guys voted astronomy, which was good. 13% of you guys voted chemistry. At 37%, you guys voted physics. But the correct answer, which 50% of you guys voted, was A, biology. Will is right, audience member. Don't you wonder who that one person is who is on the clapping sound effect who's like, whoo! Like, bitch, you got to be the one extra person. Like, your job was this. Who asked you to woo? Who asked you to woo, Henry? All right, I digress. And the last question is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the antagonist in which 1970s movie? Now, what's really cool is you can use your context clues to find out what the word antagonist is, because I know what Darth Vader is, and I know what movies is. So, antagonist, put it together, folks. You guys know, it's the bad guy, right? All right, so Darth Vader is the antagonist in which 1970s movie? I'm so glad you asked. Is it A, Stalker? Is it B, A Clockwork Orange? Is it C, Star Trek? Or is it D, Star Wars? Now, 90% of you got it right, but there was 10% of you who said Star Trek, okay? And that is very sad. However, for the 90% of you who were correct, ladies and gentlemen, it was not Saturday Night Fever, despite being an incredible Star Wars. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Henry, and the applausiers. So that, my friends, brings us now to this week's It's the Trivia Game. Wow, it gets better every time, said only me. Okay, so here we have the trivia game. I got this a couple Christmases ago for a white elephant. I think that's what it's called. And so I got it, and so I was like, oh my god, this is such a good idea. Maybe I should play a trivia game. Therefore, we now got a song and some games. So here we go. All right, so we're gonna do 5 more of these games, and I want you guys all to get real engaged in this. So hopefully, there isn't like weird cricket noises after I start reading these questions. I'm gonna read these questions out, and I'm going to ask the poll, of course, on my Twitter. Did the Twitter that I'm getting some intel here? You are absolutely correct. So I'm getting intel via text because someone did not want to call me out in the chat, which is, I thought, very, very nice. So it turns out, thank you very much, Mark, for this intel. I'm getting live on, we need some instrumental music. We're getting live intel, folks. So it turns out, a few questions ago, I made a journalistic mistake. Turns out, the person who did the scream was not Vincent van Gogh. It was, in fact, Edvard Munch with a V. Ladies and gentlemen, you see how I got that confused? The little circle versus the highlighted part. Wow. Thank you. Wow. We're stunned that came to a journalistic halt, but in the interest of integrity, many people call me the Brian Williams of... Okay, actually, he has no integrity. Okay, a lot of people call me the Barbara Walters of Twitch. Actually, no one calls me that at all. So, actually, that is really shocking to me because I swear it was Vincent Van Gogh, and so did a lot of you. Okay, so let's go back to the poll. Okay, we gotta make this right, people. So it turns out 67 of you guys thought it was Vincent Van Gogh. Wow. And 11% of all of us, wow, thought it was the other thing. And I would love to re-listen to this because I'm sure I sound so pompous thinking it's Vincent Van Gogh. I'm like, where are we all go? Because I have the key card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the... All right, this week's game. Here we go. First question. Oh my! Actually, let's get some intense music in here. I think we need to make it much more intense. You guys heard the other day on episode 13. We just had to set the mood. Here we go. Question number 1. Wow. What genre of music is most often associated with Garth Brooks? Let me know in the comments if this music is blaring. A. Rock. B. Synth pop. C. Country. Or D. Jazz. Garth Brooks, rock, synth pop, country, or jazz. I really hope none of you get this wrong. Alright, we have some guesses. It's not blaring, that's good. And apparently it might be country. C, is that, yes, C was country, good guess. I have Gaz and Horse are leading characters in which film? This is question number 2. 4 Weddings and a Funeral. B. Trainspotting. C. Notting Hill. Or D. The Full Monty. Gaz and Horse, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. A. B. Trainspotting. C. Notting Hill. Or D. The Full Monty. It's getting intense. Yes, we only have 40 seconds left of this song before it starts over. Question number 3. Andy Warhol created a self-portrait depicting his face as what color? A. Blue. B. Pink. C. Yellow. Or D. Camouflage. Andy Warhol created a self-portrait depicting his face as what color? Blue, pink, yellow, or camouflage? Oh my god. It's getting very intense. And I think we have 2 questions left. Everyone just take a breath. We're getting there. Wow. That is something else. We have more questions. What would you be getting if you were served an hors d'oeuvre? Would it be A. Pudding? B. Supper. C. Breakfast. Did one of my relatives write supper? Okay, back to the game. What would you be getting if you were served an hors d'oeuvre? A. Pudding. B. Supper. C. Breakfast. Or D. An appetizer. Hors d'oeuvre, pudding, supper, breakfast, or an appetizer. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our final question of the ASMR game. Milk teeth. Whatever the fuck those are. Milk teeth. Oh, I think those are baby teeth. Milk teeth are generally replaced with how many adult teeth? Milk teeth are generally replaced with how many adult teeth? A. 42, B. 52, C. 22, or D. What I will be turning? D. 32. Also my bra size. Just kidding. I don't know bra sizes. That just felt like a funny joke. Okay. A. 42, B. 52, C. 22, D. 32. Milk teeth, adult teeth. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, and those were our 5 questions for this week's. That doesn't go together, does it? God, let's just sit in this music for a few seconds more. They loved that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was this week's
It's the trivia game.
Wonderful. So like I said earlier in the shout-outs, my mom's shout-out to Mama Lannon out there. She actually gave me the recommendation to make this a little bit more interactive because she's like, bitch, you boring. Just kidding. She didn't say that, but I can read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? No, but that was really, really fun. Of course, I will reveal the answers right here on Twitch TV, and I'll be posting those polls on my Twitter at Jon Jon Lannon. And I'll be posting those polls on my Twitter at Jon Jon Lannon. So remember, you guys can keep the guesses going in here, but we, of course, have most of you guys' favorite segment left. We will come back after this short break.
Are you constantly making people laugh? Have your family members and friends told you that you're funny? Well then, jump into the hilarious world of improv and comedy. The Jon Jon & Co. School of Comedy is now enrolling. Class sizes are limited and will sell out quickly. For more information on these courses, please visit us at jonjonandco.com. That's jonjonandco.com. See you on stage!
Hello, and welcome back, beautiful people. Are you guys enjoying the pod? Well, while you guys are here, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Reviews truly, you guys, help a small pod like mine, so let's get all you guys can, of course, get engaged here on the Twitch channel chat, or JJHH all over social media. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final segment of the show, it needs no introduction. Let's all... It is...
Shit that I heard this week. Shit that I heard this week.
Oh my god, not Akon. Let's hear Shit I Heard This Week theme song one more.
Shit that I heard this week. Shit that I heard this week.
Oh my goodness, that song, I just loves it to pieces. Sounds like we have some birthdays out there. Happy birthday. I want to give a special shout out to anyone having a birthday today over the course of the next 364 days. I'm very thoughtful. I thought of you and the audience, and Henry and the audience loved it as well. So, before folks, I'm going to give you guys a loving countdown, and you guys are going to have to GTFO if you guys do not want spoiler alerts. Are you guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. So now that that's out of the way, we can get right back engaged with. Oh my God, sorry. My sound I think was messing up there for a second. So thank you for the intel, folks. We're gonna get right into this week's
Shit that I heard this week. Shit that I heard this week.
So first on the deck, of course, is RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. Now, what happened yesterday, or 2 days ago, on May 22nd, Friday, VH1 aired the season reunion of the 12th round of Drag Race. This was really, really interesting because they did this all via Zoom meeting, which I thought was really, really fascinating. And so they got to interact, and of course, they're going to be crowning a queen, the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, this Friday. So I got to tell you, it was really wild to watch. And as suspected, Sherry Pie was, of course, not at the reunion because she's been virtually erased from the Runiverse, if you will. I did think RuPaul did not get up in her gig. She was wearing a mask with a hoodie, so that I thought was interesting. But that leaves us, of course, with the top three being Crystal Method, Jada Essence Hall, and Gigi Good. I asked you guys on my Twitter, of course, that's at Jon Jon Lannon. Yeah. Who do you think is going to take the crown? And it was actually a very, very close race here, folks. It was. Tied for second place was Team Jada and Team Gigi at 32%. Wowza. And at 36% was Team Crystal. So it's going to be really, really interesting who wins I do think there is this weird storyline going on right now that Crystal Method and Gigi Good are dating. So I do think that would be very strange if either of them get the crown, seeing as they're both dating. I almost feel like it. It cancels itself out. They're gonna, and then Jade is gonna take it. That doesn't mean that I don't want either of them to take it, because frankly I would love if Crystal Method could do it, but who knows. Now, in some really sad news, you guys, coming in this week, there was a tragic death of the WWE superstar Shad Gaspard. The body of, here the New York Times, of course, reports, body of former pro wrestler found on beach 2 days after he went missing. Shad Gaspard, he was 39, was caught in a riptide current with his 10-year-old son. This is wild, you guys. His last words were, "Just secure my son, rescue my son." That I cannot even imagine, but those were his literal last words, according to the lifeguard. The lifeguard went out on a 2-person rescue, the chief said, and his last words were what I just mentioned to you. The lifeguard did bring the child back to shore, but unfortunately the Mr. Gaspard, it looks like, who was struggling in 5 to 6 foot waves, was still floating. So he literally said in 60 seconds, the lifeguard went back out to get Shad, and he saw him, and a wave came and pushed him under. And of course, Gaspard did not resurface again. So, I hate bringing up news like that, but I think it's really, really important, you guys, that we cover all kinds of news, especially, you guys know I'm a huge wrestling fan, and it is just devastating to hear of anything like this happening, especially with his kid being so close. The WWE did make a statement. They say WWE is saddened to learn that former WWE Shad Gaspard has passed away at the young age of 39. Admired by friends and colleagues, his warmth and humor, Gaspard was no stranger to heroic deeds. So I joke with the audience, but huge shout out to, of course, him and his family. Just an unbelievably sad story all around. So, of course, our love and condolences to his loved ones. Damn. Now, in some lighter news, the announcement that basically shook the podcasting world this last week, according to the Wall Street Journal, folks, that transition is tough. I'll just be frank with you, right? It's really tough to navigate from tough news like that into this, but we're going to do it, folks. But like I said, according to the Wall Street Journal, Spotify strikes a podcast deal with the Joe Rogan worth, wait for it, more than $100 million. So what that means is his full library dating back 11 years is to hit the service September 1 and then become exclusive to Spotify after that before the end of the year. A $100 million contract. Now, the licensing deal is actually the biggest licensing deal in any world. And those of you who are asking, Spotify is actually a huge musical platform where not only you can publish podcasts, this podcast, of course, is available there as well, but it is a podcast platform, a music platform, and I think what they're trying to do truly here is dominate the space. Joe Rogan really is, a lot of people call him the king of podcasting, which I think is really, really true. He's really, and I'm going to get into some stats here in just a second, but I do think there was some rumors as to why he was. It looks like he's moving away from YouTube completely. And yes, you're exactly right, Christian. What this deal does is create exclusivity for Spotify for Joe Rogan's podcast. And the amount of viewers, it's absolutely colossal. So more specifically here, I'm going to read you guys a bit here from the Wall Street Journal because I just think it's fascinating. And when I refer to Alphabet Inc., that's Google, of course. So Mr. Rogan 52 had so far withheld his podcast from Spotify, saying that streaming service doesn't pay enough, and he had been generating significant revenue on other services such as Alphabet Inc.'s YouTube. So those of you mentioning he would be there as well. He would formerly be there as well, exactly. So he's moving to this place, to this Spotify place. His full library, dating back 11 years, wow, is to hit the service on the September 1 and become exclusive to Spotify after that, before the end of the year. His video podcast, which also appear on Spotify, will no longer be available on YouTube. Wow. Now, we're going to be working with the same crew doing the exact same show, Mr. Rogan said, as he announced the deal on his podcast this last Tuesday. And the only difference is it will be now available on the largest audio platform in the world. Wowza! But no, that is huge, colossal news. And to think that we're having... to think that we're having conversations surrounding podcast contracts, right? There's always been music deals, record deals, radio, all these kinds of different avenues. And I think it's really fascinating that the podcasting world is even talking about a deal worth $100 million. So I just think it's absolutely fascinating. I was reading this Twitter user called Michael Lippo. That's at Michael Lippo. He actually goes on to say, Joe effing Rogan. Yesterday, Spotify announced that $100 million exclusive partnership. $100 million sounds like a lot of money, right? But he asks, is it really? So he dives a little bit further into it, and I think it's really fascinating. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this, so bear with me. So I'm going to talk about what's called CPM. So anyone familiar in the marketing world knows that the CPM means cost per 1,000 impressions. So basically, it's the cost for getting or acquiring 1,000 viewers or listeners for different things. So when you guys are looking at like content and things like that, that's something that you guys will often look into is that CPM. So we'll talk about that number in a minute, but I wanted to give you guys that acronym definition before we dive in. So Joe Rogan, he says, is the undisputed king of podcasting. He's built an empire that attracts, wait for this, 190 million downloads a month with only a microphone. Isn't that nuts? Joe Rogan is interesting because he breaks all the rules. Episodes are 2+ hours long. Okay, daily episodes instead of at once a week, which most people do. Clocked. And then controversial guests. He's had guests on like people like Alex Jones, who's a very controversial figure here in the U.S. I know there's some international viewers here, so hello there. Now, I do think that he goes on to say that he does think these unorthodox decisions go on to make him the biggest one. Now, there were a large blue chip media companies that spend hundreds of millions of dollars that still can't acquire an audience that size. Look at CNN, and they had 148 million digital viewers in January. That was their biggest month ever. Again, remember we said Joe went 190 million a month. So the CNN can't even keep up with his numbers. And again, I pulled all this up because I found it fascinating, so I really wanted to dive into it a little bit further in today's pod. So let's do the quick math. Industry standard for a podcast is $25 CPM. So it typically costs you about $25 for every 1,000 views. Let's assume Joe Rogan gets $15 CPM to account for his size. That, of course, discounts to longtime advisors or any like unsold inventory. At 15 CPM on 190 million downloads, that would actually net someone $2.85 million per month. That's $34 million per year. Whoo! So he goes on to say, oh my God, Coca-Cola sponsor me. And at that rate, Spotify would recoup its $100 million in just 3 years. So that doesn't include any of the subscription revenue that he would acquire to drive to those platforms. And then suddenly this $100 million does not seem that high. So furthermore, $100 million also looks low when you look at the recent acquisitions by Spotify. So they just got a company called Gimlet Media. They only produced $20 million in revenue, and they have 20+ million downloads. And then the Ringer one was as well. The Ringer Media as well. Now, if Rogan got a similar or multiple, that would mean he actually got closer to $300 million. So again, this $100 million figure is just what's been reported. So this is wild that he could potentially be getting $300 million. Those of you who are international, thank you guys so much. I love you guys for watching. Christian, I see you there. Have fun. I know it's late in the UK, but thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate that. But as we go a little bit further into this, there really is no question. Joe Rogan absolutely, Joe Rogan absolutely deserves every ounce of that. Like I said, he brings in a tremendous amount of people to pods. So I'm going to ask actually on my Twitter, that's at Jon Jon Lana, do you think Joe Rogan got a good deal out of this? Yay or nay will be the options. So I will be letting you guys know that. So, wow, oh my God, sorry, the chair. So the last topic here on
Shit that I heard this week
is actually the Jon Jon Happy Hour. So I've done in ages, and that is give you guys all a daily dose of Jon Jon. So that's right. So starting tomorrow morning, oh my God, at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to be introducing you all to the Cup of Jon Jon. And so what that means is every morning you and I are going to wake up together. I'm going to have my morning cup of Java. You're going to have your morning cup of Java, and we're going to just chat. It's basically just going to be a morning, how do I say, like a free flow of thoughts, because I do think those morning thoughts are the most powerful. So let's wake up together this week for your Cup of Jon Jon. I cannot wait. And that, my friends, was this week.
Shit that I heard this week. Shit that I heard this week.
Oh my goodness. Alrighty, kiddos, that's the conclusion of the 14th edition of the Jon Jon Happy Hour. I want to thank you guys all so much for listening and joining me, of course, for another hashtag JJHH. I will be talking to you guys every single morning this week, and I'll see you again here live on Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ta!